Hello, welcome back to my channel. So I did a video quite similar to this a few months ago, and the whole premise of it is that in order to not be victims of marketing campaigns, we need to kind of equip ourselves with the tools to be able to resist the temptation. And the way to do this is to analyze exactly how these adverts are trying to manipulate you. And this can stop us from being like victims of their marketing schemes. So the trick is to look at an advert and rather than thinking, ooh, that's a nice pair of shoes, thinking, I see what you're trying to do here, advert. I see how you're trying to take advantage of me. I see which weakness you suspect I have that you're trying to exploit in order to sell something. Remember that you should try and let the absence of an object in your life inform the purchase of one. So if an advert is trying to tell you that your life is incomplete without this thing, then that advert is trying to manipulate you. So I've gone through a few well-known shopping websites and taken their advertisements, and we're just going to sort of pick at them and talk about how exactly they are trying to exploit you. So here we have the words must-haves, which are pretty much like basics or essentials, and they kind of try and tell you that these are things that everyone has and you should have them as well, and if you don't have them, then you know what you're doing. There's this idea that we cannot be complete without these essential items. And we also have the big sale advertised in yellow here. Always watch out for things that are like brightly colored or moving, because they are using colors and movement to try and capture and keep your attention. And a really big pet peeve of mine is this idea that adverts keep trying to promote that if it's a new season, then you need some new clothes. Now, if you are moving country and you are experiencing a new temperature or a new climate for the very first time, then yes, if there is a new climate, then you may need some new clothes. But if you are in the same country that you were last spring, then this spring you do not need new clothes. You do not have to kind of commemorate a new season with new clothes. That's just not how it works. It's just a marketing tool. And of course, it wouldn't be an advert without an aspirational image of a young woman looking smart, smiling on a road, walking in the middle of a road, I noticed, which isn't very smart. And she's amongst some rocks, so we all want to be that girl. But it's because she's wild at heart, of course, which is probably why she's walking in the middle of the road. But wild at heart is another one of these bizarrely aspirational statements that kind of try and make you feel like that's what you should be, and therefore if you're not that, you are in this instance boring. If you're not wild at heart, then you are boring. So it's saying in order to live a non-boring existence, you must purchase these clothes. It's trying to make you dissatisfied with your lot, but you are doing just fine as you are. You do not need these new clothes. So speaking of weird statements that are bizarrely aspirational and I don't entirely understand, this advert is telling us to be more cowgirls, especially as this particular branch of this website is based in the UK. I don't know why we are being encouraged to be more cowgirl. I mean, the hours are incredibly unsociable. You got to be on your feet all day. I don't understand why we would want this. And further down the page, it tells us to say yes to the West. So this is a very good demonstration of this whole concept of fashion versus style. So this is very much on trend, apparently, according to this little bit of website here. Being, looking like a cowgirl is fashionable, it's on trend. That is very different to being stylish or having your own personal style. So this one is undoubtedly the worst one, and it makes me quite angry. And I don't get angry very easily. It's just sad. This is a sad advert. It makes me despair slightly. So Lipsy have declared this year the year of the female. And as if that alone isn't bad enough, they have said, what have they said? This season, make no excuse for the woman that you are beautiful, is what they've said. So let's just pick this apart for a moment. I mean, there's so many things wrong with it. It's kind of difficult to know where to start. So firstly, we are being told that this year, 2018, is the year of the female, whatever that means. So, gender is a massive topic and it's not one that I feel completely qualified to speak about, but I will say that being told or implying that you have to dress a certain way in order to fit a gender is so ridiculous. And using this to sell clothes is shameless. It's wrong. And the implication that I, a female, have to buy this little pink dress in order to be the female, to make no excuse for the woman that I am, is an absolute insult to everything that I am as a human being, everything that I have to offer. And the worst thing is that this advert is trying to take advantage of the female empowerment movement. So, we've got loads of people online who are trying to spread messages of love and acceptance and saying, you can be whoever you are. You don't have to fit this certain image to be a woman or to be whoever you are. You can, everyone looks different. There's so many positive messages, and Lipsy have decided to take that and say, actually, I'm going to use this as a marketing scheme. I'm going to say that in order to be female, in order to consider yourself a woman, you're going to have to buy these clothes and look this certain way. And I know that isn't specifically what they're saying, but it's all implied. Everything with adverts is implied. Sell your dresses. There's nothing wrong with selling dresses. And there's nothing wrong with buying pink dresses. That's absolutely fine. But using what is essentially years and years and years of female repression to sell your dresses is completely shameless. So I thought that this advert was quite bad and I wasn't very happy with it. And then I scrolled down. So here we are told that a trench coat will make us powerful, and that this swimwear will make us body confident, and that these dresses will make us feel unbelievable. It is completely taking advantage of their audience's insecurities, and it's not even subtle about it. It's not even trying to pretend that it isn't, because I think advertising can be done in a really good way, and I think it can be really sneaky. And when it is done sneakily, I'm kind of like, hey, I don't like being exploited, but I see what you're doing, and I appreciate it and you respect. This is just blatant. It's terrible. If you're body confident, it doesn't matter what bikini you wear, and if you're happy, it doesn't matter what dress you wear, and you do not get power from a trench coat. It's trying to sell you a dream. It is pinpointing something that they think you lack and attaching it onto a product that they sell. So you feel that if you make that purchase, you're also going to get that thing that you think you lack. But no confidence and no power or no, feeling unbelievable is going to come from an external source. These are all things that you have to work on yourself, and it grossly simplifies the situation just to think that you can buy something in order to get to that point. I don't think there's all that much to say about this one, but what's sort of weirdly admirable but also annoying is that it's almost quite self-aware. So we can see it's okay to love shopping on this website, which is almost as if they are suspecting, like you're sitting there thinking, oh, it's not okay to love shopping, I shouldn't be shopping. Like it's like they're aware that it's a bad habit and that you're maybe compensating for something. So it's like saying, keep on going, you're doing fine, off you go, keep buying stuff, which is really, really bizarre, and I haven't seen that before on any websites, but it's really, really strange. So this one is one that's quite clever. So every now and again I will see something and I think, I see what you've done, and I like it, I respect it. And this is one of those. So obviously Karen Millen in this website are trying to sell their occasion wear, and the slogan they've gone for is rise to the occasion. And obviously, it's relevant because we're talking about occasion wear, but then there is the fact that we're talking about rising to the occasion. So it is implied that you are lacking something in this advert. It comes across as just a simple play on words, but it is implying that you are not worthy of the occasion until you buy some new clothes. But it's subtle. It's a subtle one, and I like it. And finally, the Topshop website claims that these are trends that you need now, and you do not need them now, I guess is my point. But also the fact, the use of the word trends is something I just want to talk about, because adverts will try and make you feel like you're being left behind someone if you don't keep up with the latest fashions or the latest trends. They imply that everyone is buying all these new things and that you're just stuck in the past if you don't buy them. And this in a lot of ways is tapping into our human need to be accepted, to be part of a community. They're exploiting that part of being a human and trying to make you think that you don't fit in if you don't make these purchases. But these purchases have got nothing to do with fitting in, and you do not, as I mentioned, you do not need to buy new clothes in order to fit in order to be, in order to have a new start, in order to be accepted, in order to be happy. The two are not aligned in any way. This is purely a marketing scheme. So I hope you enjoyed that video. If you spot anything like this online, especially sometimes when I'm scrolling through Instagram, I'll find really bizarre adverts. In fact, I've got a few that I didn't put in. Oh yeah, I saw a Mother's Day advert that says, it doesn't matter what you give her, as long as it's her favourite flower, which I felt oh, this is a really annoying thing as well. Whenever it comes to some sort of holiday or like a Mother's Day, Father's Day, or this type of thing, and it exploits the concept that we've been taught, which is that things we buy somehow represent the amount of love we have for that person. So in order to accurately show someone we love them, we have to buy a certain thing, or we have to spend a certain amount of money, as if the two are linked in any way. They are not linked in any way. There are so many ways that you can show someone that you love them that don't involve spending money. There was another one that I saw ages ago that I wasn't even planning on doing this video then, but I just print screened it because it was so ridiculous. So there's this advert here where the tagline is, "There's nothing a little shopping spree can't fix." I mean, that's kind of trying to exploit someone when they're at their lowest, maybe when they're having a bad day or something like that. You know, if there's something wrong in your life, shopping won't fix it. It's honestly shameless. Like, I think these companies think they're being cheeky, or they're being like quite funny, but it's not, because we are growing up. We have children growing up in a culture of thinking of, you know, having so many things attached to the purchases that they make. They have their self-worth attached to the purchases they make. They have their, you know, their confidence and their body image and so many things that they are tying up with things that you buy, and it's damaging. It is damaging for people. Yeah, I found it. Yes, this one. Okay, so this was one that I saw on Facebook, and the line is, "Feel bad about never printing photos? Fix it in 1 minute." No, I've never felt bad about not printing photos. Who feels bad? And the idea that it even says feel bad, as if they're trying to make you feel bad. It's like, well, I hadn't considered feeling bad about not printing photos until you mentioned it, chatbooks. What I would really love, if you have a moment, is if you ever see an advert like that, could you please send it to me? Could you show me? Because I love doing this, and it's a really good way to kind of get your like critical thinking going. So be really analytical. So whenever you see an advert, think to yourself, you know, how is this exploiting me? And then print screen it and send it to me. You can send it to me, you suppose you could link me on here, or you could send it to me on Instagram. But I would absolutely love to see them, because sometimes I find it hilarious, sort of how low these companies will stoop. And I realize I've just been slating advertisements this whole video, but I genuinely do have respect for it as an art form. Like, I think it's very, very clever, and the amount of psychoanalysis that has to go into it is extraordinary, and I have a lot of respect for that. But also, I refuse to be a victim of it. So I think that's the lesson. That's the takeaway lesson from this video. So I hope you enjoyed that video, and thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for subscribing, and feel free to follow me on my Instagram, and also check out my blog. And I will see you on my next video. I hope you're having a lovely week. I'll see you later. Goodbye.